right, and welcome to another edition of the East County Sports Report. I'm Ramon Scott. I'm joined by Dave Dickens of EastCountySports.com. Dave, a new record tonight. We got a guest making his third appearance on our show, but you know what? It's worthy because Justus MCCOMB had some big news that he announced today via Twitter, and we're going to find out, even though we just hung out with him, 3.5 months or so ago, which seems like a couple of weeks ago in the pandemic, but things changed kind of fast. And when we talked to Justus, he kind of gave us a list of some schools that were interested in him and vice versa. But you know what? His announcement today, he didn't have any idea then, or maybe he did. He just didn't share it with us. But I think we'll find out what Justus said today and how this came about. Dave, thanks a lot.
Yeah, I think, the last we knew, we didn't know for sure. He was still deciding, but from a lot of the tweets he put out, of course, and Instagram, it was Eastern Kentucky for sure. But come a couple of months later, we have some different news, and as that is part of the whole program, we're gonna hand it over to you, Justus, and kind of give us a insight on how that all came about, how you changed your mind, what came up, and what was it that put you over that final hump?
Yeah, so obviously EKU was showing me a lot of love for a little bit there, and God just endorsed that he obviously didn't want me there in his will, but Southwest Minnesota State came in, Coach Souter, and he came in right before Christmas and got on a Zoom call with me, and I was able to do a throwing session with him while he watched me on a FaceTime with my coach set it up. My dad was there and had the FaceTime camera on me while I was throwing. He really liked me, and he offered me 2 days after. We went over the whole logistics of the scholarship and all that stuff, and it was really interesting at first because the way he was talking to me and about me, and he was just really, he said he fell in love with me when he started to see how much I worked on Twitter, especially with how much what I post on there, and the love that I have for the game. And so that really intrigued me because he seemed that he really clicked with what he really liked what I did, and that was really important to me. And at the same time, I think what really put me over the edge was when we did a FaceTime call with my parents, and my parents had a lot of questions for him, and he was super straightforward and super honest and spoke highly of me, but also told them, what parent doesn't want to hear ease their own conscience about where they're going to let their kid go to school, and I think that's what really put me over the edge was how he was able to deal with that, and his heart. He seems like he really cares about the kids and wants his kids to succeed.
Yeah, Dave. So Justus, for now, going to be a Mustang up there in the Northern Sun League. They didn't play football this year up in that league, Dave. All the fall sports were canceled, but interesting how technology kind of crept its way into Justus's recruiting. If anybody who kind of follows the scene has seen some videos of Justus and some of his workouts with a popular quarterback coach in these parts for the last 10 years. And, you can get a good feel watching Justus on tape for what he can do. It's not the same as, operating on the field, but fortunately, we've seen Justus operate on the field in his record-setting season with the Eagles, Dave. So this is a great call. We don't know what's going to happen in the weeks to come. The news has been kind of positive, even though the pandemic's kind of crummy. But, we can still play. There's still a chance. But, Dave, just cool to hear this from Justus making that commitment. You mentioned Eastern Kentucky, and, we did hear some other schools before in our previous video with Justus. You mentioned, Davis and Arkansas State, NAU, a couple of others. But this might be a good situation. We've seen a lot of success by some of our players using kind of that Midwest pipeline. We've had some real good success from some quarterbacks. I think of the great season that Brad Cagle just had this past year and his career trek. So Justus could, perform like that, I think he'll be well inclined to have success there. And, for Justice, academics is a big deal too, Dave.
Yeah, Justice, I was actually going to lead into that again and kind of refresh some of the audience's memories on what your thoughts were on your major and which direction you're headed there. I mean, because obviously, football is the ultimate goal, but we also know that the unfortunate thing of having injuries come up, and the way that we've been able to we've been limited to practice time, both at your level and at the professional level. So, I mean, we got to have that secondary plan in motion. And so if you'd like to elaborate on that.
Yeah. So when it comes to what I want to do in college, when I grow up, I want to get into law enforcement. And I've been talking to a lot of police officers and people that say that, and they told me to take business management because they want to be able to see who can manage people so that they can work them up it works them up faster because they know that they can bring people together and get them to do what they're supposed to do. And then even if I decide not to go into law enforcement, I still have a business degree to fall back on. So that's what I was thinking getting into, is like a business management type of degree.
Yeah, Dave, and Justice is already revered by his teammates for his leadership. We know that. So, but I wanted to tell you, Dave, it was unfortunate. I wanted to report to you. You mentioned injuries, and poor Justice. I know he doesn't want to say anything about it, but he was one of the first injuries of the season since we haven't even got started. Justice, your thumbs must be sprained from responding to all those well-wishers today on Facebook. Proud and happy for you, man.
Yes.
Had 36 responses you had to go through so far. It looks like on that list, but looks like some people that obviously followed you from your days of youth football and pulled for you all the way. So must be stoked to see all those messages from all your friends.
Yeah, 100%. I have had a lot of supporters since I've been a little kid, supporting me, and even now when I got into high school playing around San Diego community is such a great community to play in. We all have each other's back. We all want each other to succeed. So it was awesome to see how happy everyone was for me.
Not to mention, as we discussed a couple of months ago, just thoughts from some of his other schools. Some of them I'll call them his foes that are also probably friends of his as well. But that they were picking him as to be one of the top quarterbacks in the county when we resume football this season.
Yeah, for sure, Justice. I mean, like I said, we talked 3.5 months ago, and we were kind of worried then about getting out there. But hey, still have some ray of hope, even getting a little bit brighter as the days go along. But keeping loose, keeping ready, right? I mean, you're not looking forward to those cold November and December games just yet. Oh, did we lose you, brother? Are you here? It is a little fuzzy, so I'm wondering if Justice is getting all of our message here, Dave.
Maybe he's just hearing one of us. Can you hear me, Justice? Or no?
Okay, I'll type some stuff in, and Dave, maybe we can just talk about one of the great things.
I'm trying to stay positive about the season for sure. I'm really staying hopeful that we'll have one. But can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, let him go, Dave.
I'm hearing you. I'm trying. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah, we can.
Keep expounding on that point if you can, brother.
Yeah, I can hear you. Is it being fuzzy?
No, go ahead. You can continue.
Just hang with it, folks. I think Justice is going to come back to us here. Yeah. He's just delayed on us a little bit, Dave. I'm afraid, but we were really looking. Oh,
can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, it's being weird, huh? Can you hear me? Is it delaying?
Yeah, I think you're being delayed with what we are questioning and what we're stating.
Trying to type in to keep going with that point, but oh, Dave, I'm so bummed about it, but
I think he just saw it. I think he just
with me. So
yeah.
We were talking. What were we talking about? We're talking about
optimistic on the season.
I did see it. Is it not working? I'm trying to talk, and is it being laggy?
Just type it in the questions, folks. If Justice can give us the answers. He's just a little bit behind us, I'm afraid. Dave, what I might do is bump Justice in and out here real quick. Hang tight.
I typed in too the same thing, pretty much what you asked him. So,
can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, you guys can hear me.
Yeah.
I think I just had to change the Wi-Fi. I think it was on the wrong one.
Okay. Yeah. Good job. Sorry. Apologize to the viewers there for about a minute or two, but I think we got you back.
All right.
Justice. Anyways, Dave and I. Dave wants to see. I'll just recap the whole thing. With Dave and I just had two questions at you at once, and you had to wait on us. But okay, the short answer for Dave, he wants to see the Eagles and the Cougars play twice for sure. Not to mention those other great games in the 4-team league. And I kind of said, because Dave hates when I talk about the pandemic, but I will say that the news is optimistic because we did hear what Dr. Fauci kind of gave the governor a little encouragement today to maybe, it's unfortunate what's going on. Healthcare workers doing a great job. Maybe we could just start to loosen up, get the kids back in schools. That's what Fauci told Newsom today. I don't know if you guys actually heard that, but Justice, we want to get back out there on the field and play this season. We can do it, man. We can get out there maybe in the late January, February, play, through March and April. Maybe it's just a 6 or 7 game season, throw a bowl game in there. We're going to get out there, aren't we?
Yeah, so I've always been a believer that we should be playing, and we should have been playing. It's a lot better to have kids, because kids are going to do whatever they want anyways, right? Kids my age are going to do whatever they want anyways. It's better to have them under a controlled environment to where they can be tested and be temperature checked and all that stuff, instead of going out and having like fun with their friends. I mean, it's not a bad thing, but it's better to be in a controlled environment. Just like there's no data pointing to school that we can't open in schools. So I feel like it's better if we are playing, because then you're in a more controlled environment, and you're not just going all over the place, not wearing a mask and being super close to anyone and anywhere out in public.
I'm just trying to be more positive. They've watched that bowl game today, and I'm sure maybe Justice caught some of it too, because you look at a quarterback like the Sooners have in Spencer Rattler, and you think about just over there in Phoenix, where they've enjoyed their whole season, and but Dave, just watching that bowl game and just seeing thousands, several thousand people in the stands, everybody's be cautious. I mean, it's not like we're selling out the games. We're not putting 50, 60,000 people together. Everybody's just trying to exercise with caution because we have to protect some people. But go ahead, Dave.
Well, I mean, there's another example. What they're talking about with Buffalo. They're talking about for the playoffs already, that they're looking to try and get 6,000 plus in to watch the playoffs. And I think, honestly, with a stadium that big, I'm sure that you can space out 6,000 people in a 60,000, 70,000 seat stadium to where they can enjoy the playoff environment. And to be honest, instead of filtering in all that the fake stuff, I mean, it's working, but it's still not the same as seeing those fans out there freezing their tails off. The not just the breath coming out of the players, but the breath coming out of the stands too. They're all bundled up, but they got all their Bills gear on, and just taking in the game. I mean, I think that's it's not just about the players on the field, but it's about the fans. I think Justice can agree with us that without the fans, it's just a whole nother world. I mean, screaming fans when you're going in for, whether you're on defense and it's a pick six, or whether you're on offense, Justice throws a 55-yard touchdown pass. I mean, there's just no feeling like it, right? Instead of just, well, the guys just heard it. I heard my guys on the sideline, but and I can hear what they're calling across the line because it's so quiet.
Yeah. Justice, speaking of cold weather, I'm sure that everybody, for all your well-wishers, everyone had to get a little dig in there and say, hey, it's going to be a big change for you.
Yes, it is definitely going to be a big change for me, but I'm really excited about it. It's a different change of scenery, different different weather, all that stuff. And I'm actually kind of really excited about it, just to get, maybe get a snow game once in my career up there, see what that's like. I mean, I don't know how easy it would be to throw in that, but I'm sure I could figure it out.
Yeah, but you don't want to.
Sure, I could figure it out, but
you have to worry about Justice takeoff running too, Dave. About his record-setting season last year, 3,000 yards, and run and pass.
I was going to get into that and say, you never know. You could, he could end up being another Josh Allen out there taking off. I mean, look how fast that guy ended up, and no one after his first season thought he was going to be the quarterback he is today. And then in the snow, and that's got to be pretty tough. And not to mention, Justice, you're going to have to take up some ice fishing if you're going to be living in the Midwest. I mean, that's just a must.
Yes. Yeah, I got to get learn what they do out there and get into that stuff. I love fishing. I don't get to do it very often, but I like to do it. I don't know if they'll let me hunt up there, but I kind of want to get into some hunting, I don't know, find something to do up there, I'm sure I'll find something to do.
You can. I forgot how they worked it out, because I have family in Wisconsin, so I did some hunting up there myself. And I always ask them, I said, why the really bright orange jackets? And don't know if there's truth behind that, but they said, well, there's a lot of folks that are drinking beer at 4 a.m, and they just want to make sure that they don't hit the wrong thing.
It's pretty smart.
So I think there honestly is some truth to that. I mean, we know how it is in the Midwest, but definitely different environment. At least, I mean, you'll get some seasons out there. Not something like we're used to. We're used to the warm and hot, and hot and warm. I mean, it's.
Yeah, I've been trying to wear tank tops all summer, all Christmas break, so that I can get used to the cold. Even though it's only 60 something out here, but I've been wearing tank tops.
Okay, well, Justice, like I said, when we talked to you before, that you had not really had you even heard of Southwest. We know that they play in that Northwest Sun League. It's a semi-popular league up there, pretty famous small league. But had you had any contact or even knew about them? And what was the timetable of events with them? You mentioned just how fast it went, and seeing them watching you on video and everything. But what were you thinking about before all that happened with the other schools? And were you just kind of waiting it out and seeing, hoping we get on the field, and this opportunity came about?
Yeah, so I was more hopefully we're getting on the field. It's kind of hard now with the pandemic, and also with the NCAA saying that if you play a whole season, you can still come back with eligibility years. So no one's leaving. They don't really have enough scholarships this year to give out many people. And this is why I was super excited to have this opportunity. But the timetable, it was Coach Cobb. I had a little conversation with their defense coordinator at some point. It wasn't too much. I would think it was like April, more like that time. But we didn't. Coach Cobbs was emailing all these D2 schools because all the FCS and all these FBS schools they don't really have much, because everyone's coming back, and all the D2 schools are saying, well, everyone's coming back for us too. Everyone's coming back for us too. But Coach Sauter is the one that responded to him, and he wanted to get on FaceTime, like ASAP. Like he texted me, he DM'd me on Twitter. He said, "Can you get a FaceTime?" I was like, "Yeah, when do you want to do it?" And he said, "You good tomorrow?" I said, "Yeah, let's do it." And I got some of my receivers together, and then we threw, and I talked with him, and he was super excited about me, and he sent me an email, and he sent me all this stuff on SMSU, and then 2 days later, he got me my official offer. So.
Okay. It sounds interesting, Dave, because I probably should have prepped better for the show, but I know a little bit about that conference. I know that school, they've had some modest success. I mean, they've had a lot of 500 seasons or slightly below over the last maybe 10 years or so. I think they had 1 8-win season in there a couple of years back. But I think that, it kind of makes it kind of an equalizer thing without playing any football this year out there. They're going to have probably a lot of their roster coming back too, but it's kind of like starting from scratch in a way. It seems like without playing for a whole year, Dave. That's interesting.
Not and I mean, for out here, I mean, altogether, I think it is. I mean, we've seen Justus doing his own workout and doing his own thing, trying to stay strong, stay loose, and be in football shape. But I think really nothing can, no matter how hard you work, I think in football there is nothing that can really prepare you for an actual game. It's just so much faster and so much different. I mean, it's one thing to be working out with all the guys, and maybe doing walkthroughs, but without doing an actual practice with pads, I mean, you can vouch for me on that, Justice, that it's never the same. It's just so much different to get prepared after so long of not playing the game. I mean, we're going on over a year now that we haven't actually played an actual football game.
That's true. But I've always told people, it's something that you have in you when you're a football player. Like, it's just always in you. Like with baseball, if you take a year off of baseball, it's not going to be good because there's lots of different form stuff that you need to do that, or else you're just not going to be good next year. But when it comes to football, which is having instinct, it's just always there. Obviously, the mechanics of throwing, I need to make sure I'm on that. Obviously, the reading coverages, I need to make sure I'm on that. But when it comes to instinct and just playing and having fun as a football player, especially like for me, how it feels like, it's always there. I always have it. It's just there for me.
Now, speaking of that, since we're talking about, you mentioned baseball. What about basketball? Are we pursuing that for the last year before are we just focused only on football, and if basketball comes around, it comes around, or are we even going to play this year?
So I would love to be able to say I want to play basketball this year, but at the same time, football is probably going to overlap it by like 2 months, probably more. So it's kind of hard for me to be playing basketball and football at the same time, especially with me. I need some rest time and some training time before I go to college.
Let's hope that it does. Let's hope that those seasons do overlap, and hope that all the kids have to it'd be a tough decision for some of them. And again, I think the rules will stay that, if you can practice with 1 or 2 teams, the CIF probably let them do that. Someone like Justus is probably going to stick to what, he's working on right now, heading up there, getting ready for his collegiate career. Yeah, Dave?
Well, yeah. And I just wish we had more time. I mean, he did have the time because I'm sure he would have loved to play on one more season with that basketball team. Because, hey, Justus, you got to admit, you had a lot of talent on that basketball team. Oh my goodness! I mean, you got to admit that was a phenomenal year that basketball team had. I mean, some great last minute. I mean, what was that last minute shot and just you just saw everybody like little ants.
Yeah.
You know, it was just an amazing year for not only the football team, but the basketball team was fantastic.
Yes. You know, I had so much fun with those guys, and that's why it's just crazy. Is they're changing people's lives right now. Like this whole thing is just our whole year is just changed, and especially for seniors. Like I feel bad for all these seniors that especially like it's just I know what you guys are going through, and just hang in there. You know, God's got a plan, and you just got to hang in there.
I concur with you. I mean, I can't even imagine. I mean, I graduated from the same school in '92, and I can't imagine. I can't even fathom what it would have been like not being able to do what I wanted to do or what I loved to do, you know, back then. And even from mine and Ramon's, from our point of view, I mean, not being able to be on the field, not being able to talk to you guys, not being able to come on a Friday and hang out in the gym after the game, you know, watching the game in the gym or on the field. I mean, it's just it turns everybody's world upside down, and we all know that sports really takes our mind away from just even if it's for 2 or 3 hours, it gets our mind off of all the things that are going on that we don't care too much for, that are going on. It just gives us kind of a little break, and we all bond together for that couple of hours. And I think that's why sports is so it's a necessity as far as I'm concerned for the world, really, globally.
Well, Dave, thanks for the social statement of, you know, how great it is if we could get out there. I mean, look, there's no doubt. I mean, I was so optimistic at the beginning that we were going to get through it, and I've really been a really bummer on these shows over the last couple of shows, getting mad at you about, you know, and now I'm back to being Mr. Optimist all of a sudden in our darkest hour. So we won't bother Justice with that, and we all know the problems that, you know, we're going through right now. Dave, I don't want to mention do just some other East County stuff, and we have Justice here, but want to mention some other things that came up that maybe we haven't talked about. We haven't had a show in a couple of weeks. Ezekiel Noah had a great final game to his season this past, I think it was about 2 or 3 weeks ago, nine tackles in his finale. But one thing I want to mention that really didn't get a lot of play at all, I did see it a couple of times on Twitter, but I don't know if I've seen much coverage of it. It was kind of neat. But your buddy, Jack Browning, he got preferred walk-on status at San Diego State. Dave, want to get your reaction to this news? I don't know if you heard that. I saw it maybe a week ago or so, and I forgot to tell you. But Jack Browning, of course, San Diego State has a pretty strong kicking game. We know that. We got an all-conference kicker from the county right here with the Matt Ariza. But Jack Browning, talk about a guy, Justice, who worked his tail off. Dave, you know how hard Jack Browning worked. Going to get a shot to play at San Diego State.
He not only did it at West Hills, but he was like the most valuable player on the Grossmont College team. It's almost as far as Mike Jordan was concerned, you know, and then to end up at San Diego State, and not to mention, since you mentioned San Diego State, how about Michael Shockroff making some just some huge tackles, huge hits, and even had a few strips. So and gotten to be a lot bigger boy than the last time Justice played against him.
Right, don't want him harassing you anymore, Justice. But you saw him this year, man. He was awesome.
I mean, that's got to make you feel good too, Justice, playing with guys like that you had to face, just last year, and guys like that are making hits like that and stripping balls and doing it for San Diego State. Unfortunately, up in Carson, but still, it is San Diego State.
Yeah. I love being able to play against great competition all the time. You know, San Diego is very underrated. East County is underrated in the way that the coverage we got here, but I believe that some of the best players come out of San Diego. You see it all over the place. You see that Boise, you see that San Diego State, see people going to Washington State. We got Darren Barkins going to Oregon. It's this great talent out here that I love playing against.
Any other guys that I had mentioned, Ramon?
What do you mean, Dave? What do you mean, Dave?
Any news worthy players?
Yeah, well, I just think that those, and Justice mentioned some of them right there too, and I think that we had guys that all had some nice seasons out there. We mentioned Cagle. We mentioned, I also can mention Elelion Noah, who looked pretty good. I thought he got his one big chance to start, and he really did well. He kind of was 3 yards in a cloud of dust all season, but other than one, I saw him one little fumble that he had, but man, he just was a real gutsy man, just go hard running back, just really grinding out yardage for Utah State. So I was really impressed by Elelion this year as well. And San Diego State, we've talked about him before, Dave. I mean, we used to make fun of them not staying home and playing for San Diego State, but man, it's looking more and more like the Aztecs are keeping guys at home. So interesting. I want to show you this. I just saw that coming into the Facebook chat, and I thought it was very interesting. Montel already said hi and congratulations, but man, maybe we have a potential roommate situation working out. Look at this. Montel's son is going to Southwest Minnesota. Did you know that, Justice? And did you know?
Wow.
Because Montel is so key. If anybody knows, I think most of our viewers know that Montel is so critical in helping kids get through, especially to these Midwest pipelines. When I talk about these Midwest pipelines, I'm talking about the schools that Montel works with, right? The ones that he gets our kids opportunities with. And just to see his son going to Southwest Minnesota State, that's real interesting.
Yeah, and what Montel does for the community too. I mean, the SDFNL game that he does every year too, where he collects for the food bank, all that he does for the community, the local community. Instead of selling tickets, you bring a couple of canned food items, get into the game. I mean, he's been doing that for several years now, and I think he plays another big part in the East County and promoting our East County players in their magazine. I mean, I think without ourselves and outfits like SDFNL, I mean, I'd be real worried about the East County getting the promotions that they do get from us. And I think hopefully within the next couple of years, we do grow and we get a couple more outfits out there that really see the talent, like you mentioned, Justice, the talent that's overlooked so often out here. I mean, some people even refer to us as, the armpit out there. Yeah, with all the talent out here too. Sorry to say, guys. And I want to mention another player. It's too bad he didn't get re-signed. I know it's a different sport, but I know that Justice can appreciate baseball, and that's Mr. Garcia from Valhalla that didn't get re-signed with the Padres, unfortunately. But he had a great he had a good year. He had a good run. It's just a shame that he won't be here in San Diego, especially the way they're building that Padres team with Blake Snell now. And I mean, I think we're looking at finally having a quality baseball team in San Diego, like a team that we're going to, once we can get into the stadium, we're going to buy tickets and we're going to enjoy it. We're going to win. It's a little bit of a change.
Dave, I wouldn't be surprised if you're one of those guys that bought some of those old San Diego Stadium seats and put them in your yard there.
I thought about doing what Tony Gwynn Jr. was talking about on 107.3 The Fan. I was thinking of maybe taking a chunk of the little spiral walk around deal that I used to. He said, Tony Gwynn Jr. said that he used to play butts up when going down that thing during baseball games over at when it was Jack Murphy. And I can remember doing the same, not butts up, but we would run up and down that thing and see how many times we could run up and down that. I don't even know what you would call it, but that big spiral to get up to your seats, if you're at the plaza level, the loge level, and see who would pass out before before we could get down to the bottom. And I tell you, there was a lot of people that a lot of us as kids, we were not doing too well after that. But hey, it was a healthy thing to do. But I thought about it. I said, you know what? Tony was thinking of doing it. Why not get a piece of the concrete from the old spiral staircase walking up there? And I did think of a seat too, because there's a lot of history. A lot of history, and I still look at it as the Murph. It was Jack Murphy Stadium, hands down. Probably for Justice, it was probably more the Qualcomm days, but yeah, it'll always be the Murph as far as I'm concerned.
Justice, you ever head down, watch those Aztec games, anything like that? We used to play the championships in high school football in that stadium. Could you believe that?
I do believe it, but I wish I went to more games. As a kid, I was always playing sports, always, everything, every day, every single day I had sports, and then Sunday I have church. So I don't remember going to a lot of sports games because I was playing in sports games, but the ones I do remember is always had fun.
Fair enough. Dave, look who I brought in. We showed on the screen Blake Allen. His dad is going to join us, and maybe he wants to ask some questions to Justice, because Justice is going to be going to SMSU. Montel's son is going to be going to SMSU. Montel, great to see you. Hope everything's going fine for you. Miss you. Can't wait to work with you again. Just want to get football going. Hello, my friend.
Absolutely, man. How you guys doing, man? Happy
How
holidays.
we doing?
Good. Good to see everybody on the thing and lively spirits in today's climate, man. Just great, man. I really want to jump on and wish Justice congratulations on your commitment, man. I mean, I know through this climate and through all the circumstances going on with no sports in high school that it may not what you expected in the beginning, but I mean, it's kind of, at least you were one of the lucky ones to have an opportunity to commit to somewhere. And I commend you on committing to that school. Me and my son, we actually had an opportunity to go visit before he committed. We love the campus, love what they were talking about. Their program's on the upward swing. So he's a running back, athlete slot. So you guys will hopefully get to know a lot of each other being freshmen coming in.
Yes, sir, for sure. Thank you so much. Yeah. I'm really thankful for this opportunity. Like you said, it's crazy. This year's crazy, but I'm super excited to add what the Mustangs are doing. They're see all the people that are committed there and been watching their film, and I'm really excited about this freshman class that we got coming up there.
Absolutely. My question would be to you, because kind of some things that I'm trying to do to maybe just enhance the knowledge of recruiting for some of our young athletes that are out there in the East County and all around San Diego. With the current climate with COVID and not having an opportunity to get senior film, and some of these guys that offers and they're delaying committing, they're kind of pushing it out, hoping and anticipating maybe something else better will come along. What advice would you give them? Because what I'm seeing, there's nothing better coming along. It's pretty much on hold with the portal, growing every day. Big time schools are going to kind of pull from there before they pull high school students, especially high school students that don't have senior film. What advice would you give them to make your decision? What made you make your final decision?
Yeah, so my final decision was I obviously didn't want to just make a decision just because it was my only offer. I wanted to make sure that was a good fit, and the coach, the coach that was recruiting me was the head coach, office coordinator, and quarterback coach. So I would be connecting with him at all times. So that really was something that connected with me. I was like, this is the guy that he says he fell in love with me, and he's going to be the one that's actually coaching me and trying to get me on the field. So for these kids that you don't want to commit somewhere just to commit, because then you're going to end up being in the transfer portal. And those kids that are in the transfer portal, they don't end up, half of them don't end up even getting on a team, So, but you're right, the whole COVID and not being able to have senior film and the transfer portal, everyone's going into it right now, is kind of screwing over our class, class of 2021. I would just say try to make sure that you find a place that fits you well, and that you're going to go either you're going to go get a college degree and you're going to have fun playing football. Don't go somewhere just to go somewhere else, so you're going to have a miserable experience. Make sure that you fit in with the coaches. Make sure you fit in with that school, and make sure that's somewhere you actually want to be.
Yeah. I think that's super important. That you take that perspective. It's funny, me and my son kind of have the same perspective. They did. He felt that he wanted to go somewhere that was a fit more than just the hype around it, or more than the level of Division One, Division One AA division. He really didn't care. He just wanted the opportunity to play football and the program that believed in him. Because our philosophy around our house, if you don't play on Saturdays, you'll never get the opportunity to try to play on Sundays.
Yeah,
100%. So you got to figure out how to play on Saturdays first. And I believe a lot of kids, a lot of young prospects, especially class of 2021, are lost because, like you said before, Ramon, they're optimistic about the season's going to happen, and now that the emergence of club is going to happen, and they think all this stuff is going to happen. But I see kind of a different when club happens or the season happens. By that time, signing day is on February 2nd, guys. After 2 weeks of practice in January, you may get 2 weeks worth of film. And I'm sorry, I don't think a Division I coach is going to invest his job on 2 weeks worth of film on any prospect. That's the reality of it. And I feel a lot of guys are going to lose out on opportunities of going to various Division IIs or NAIAs or Division IIIs for that matter, for them to get opportunities to be able to play. I mean, we're going to sit out a year, guys. It's going to be a year. The rust is going to be on. We got to get out on the field somehow, and I think they need to take advantage of the opportunities presented to them.
May I interject, Montel? That's kind of something I've sometimes Ramon and I get into it on that too. I've been I don't want to say I've been preaching it, but I've been very concerned with the scholarships and the possibility of scholarships for all this young talent, and because of the lack of tape and the lack of play, because we're stagnant. We're not going it. We're just standing still. We're waiting. It's the waiting game. And meanwhile, we're not only losing possible scholarships for athletics, but we're losing the academic scholarships, at the same time, where they could have both of them and they have an option, and I just think that the safest place for these kids, as Justice mentioned before, is on that field under the supervision, and it's better than being out. Great to be with friends and all, but it's better for them to be on that field in a controlled environment and to be tested correctly and to be conditioned correctly. I think that if we went back to that model and we got started, I think that we would be I think we'd be 100%, just my opinion. And I think that would get the system rolling again, get those scouts out there and get these guys some deserving scholarships based on their athletic and academic ability.
I think that would be great for the class of 2022. I don't think for the 2021 that's going to be accurate. I think those are past. I think schools are going to be done, especially Division I schools are going to be done on February 3rd, especially with the early signing date already happening and coming up. Those opportunities won't be there because, remember, states of Florida, states of Texas already played. The portal is almost close to 1,400 people in the portal. They're going to block and then we got junior college kids. So we're telling the kid that, hey, we're going to play January 14th. We're going to start practice. We'll start February 1st for a game per se. Signings day is February 2nd. It's the money game. Those guys that opted to stay, there's no more scholarships. They're going to run out of money. And I mean,
100%.
You got to be able to take advantage of what's available to you now instead of hoping or praying that something may happen. And the thing is, we got to look at it not only half full, but it's going to be half empty at that point. There won't be. It's going to be dried up. So I would hope our kids don't miss out on the opportunity to go get their education, get some of it paid for. Be proactive. If you're that guy and you're a baller and you're the best player and you're the guy that's going to tear it up in Division II, you have the opportunity to transfer after your first year and go somewhere and go play somewhere else, or become that All-American and do whatever you need to do. If you feel that level is too low for you, I think guys will get shocked to think there's a lot of talent in Division II. But I mean, I think guys are misconception. I mean, if they think that they can just kind of go in there and roll over people, that's not the case. And the gauge of Division I to Division II, that's shrinking. That's shrinking by a lot. It's going to shrink a lot more this year because a lot of those guys that were in Division I that are in that transfer portal are going to be dropping down to D2 because they're going to have to. They want to find a home to go play. So I think the disparity of talent is going to be everywhere, and I'm almost angry because I think a lot of our kids are going to miss out on signing with a school because they think it's a little bit smaller, or they don't think it's a good fit for them because it's in the Midwest, or they don't think it's Division I, just Absolutely. Because. And I think that's such a wrong message that's been fed to all the counties within San Diego. It's like the D1 or bust mentality. And I believe, let's be perfectly honest with you. 95% of Division I players don't go to the NFL.
Well,
that's just being real. I'm just being honest.
Yeah. I agree.
So if we're looking at, we should be degree bound. Degree bound is where we should be trying to focus on. And then if you maximize your ability and you have the next ability, it doesn't matter what level you play at. The NFL will find you. There's Division III guys that are getting drafted now. So if you're that guy, if you're that one guy that can play at that level and that opportunity, you're going to get it. As we know, the supplemental leagues, the XFL, and those other leagues coming, there's more opportunities for us to play. But again, if you're not on the field on Saturdays, you're never going to get on the field on a Sunday. That's just the reality of it. So,
well, you
comment, Justin. I want Justice to comment. How you feel about that?
It's such a hard year, and I want to stay positive with everyone out there, that are struggling. I agree. It's just there's so many moving parts, and like I've talked to so many coaches, and a guy that's 20 in the transfer portal is a lot better looking to these college coaches than a 17, 18-year-old coming out of high school, not knowing what it's like to play in college football.
Boom. Yep. There you go.
And that's just the fact of the matter. So if you have an opportunity, and it depends. So if you have a coach that is like pushing you and is like, hey, I really, really like you. We want you here. We want you here. Like that's what happened with me. And I was like, dang, they really want me there. I want to be somewhere where I'm wanted, and they wanted me. So that's what pushed me over the edge. It was like, they want me. They want what I have, and it's so refreshing to feel that. And if you have that, it's a real blessing to have it.
Montel, when you saw Justice's tweet this morning, your jaw must have dropped, and you must have gave a little fist bump knowing what you know.
Man, I was like, I almost jumped for joy. I showed my son. I was like, yo, look what's going on. Look what we got. So, and my son committed it's funny because my son committed about maybe 3 weeks ago. Like we went on our trip. We went out there. We toured a couple of schools. St. Thomas's University was one of them in Minneapolis. And we toured several schools. But Southwest was, like you said, man, they were really inviting. They made my son feel like they wanted him. They wanted him to participate. They wanted him to commit. They showed him where he would fit in the scheme of things, what they're doing. They went over the playbook, like they said with Justin, the consistency. And it just felt like the right place to be. So he decided to commit there. And then, like I said, when we saw Justice McComb, I was like, yo, man, whoa, we got a big time quarterback now coming in. The freshman class is going to be something very special that they have there. And I mean, no doubt about it. They're bringing us in to beat Mankato, to take over Mankato and be the #1 Division II school in the nation. So, I mean, Justice is going to be a big part of that. I'm hoping my son, because my son also is a big part of that as well. But I mean, we definitely want to be a big part of that. I think that's just, it's just a sign of McClure like doing his due diligence in San Diego. Shea McClure, the recruiter, he's been heavy in San Diego recruiting. I've been, pushing kids out there to go. I think there's a kid from Helix that's going as well. One of the D linemen.
Sean Martinez, that dude's a stud. Yeah. He's definitely one of the best. He was one of the best linemen. He's the best lineman in San Diego, in my opinion, 100%.
Exactly. So we got some guys from the IE that I know personally that's going. Jelani is going. I got a guy, Colin Merrill, a big-time receiver for you, that's 6'3" receiver that's coming out of here, went to Texas and played, had a lot of yards there. I think us continuing to build in, the San Diego County to kind of go to schools like Southwest Minnesota or any of those Division twos is just going to build our reputation to be able to get more of our kids out, have them more opportunities. And then again, like I said, we all come back with our degrees and be successful, become pros at something. If it's not the NFL, we're going to become pros at something, professional something.
The goal, right? The goal is to get your degree and have the least amount of student debt as possible.
Exactly.
Going into your life.
You know, Justice,
I like this kid. I love Justice, man. He got all the right answers. Good kid.
And it is saying something, Justice, also. I'll just throw this in, you know. Montel, hey, let's face it, he specializes in recruiting. I always talk about his pipeline because, you know, he's such a facilitator of trying to extend those offers to kids, like he said, that, you know, sometimes will shun it or not give it or pay it any mind. When back in those towns, those football games are big time, man.
Yeah,
and the atmosphere is just incredible when you can get just a few thousand fans on a cold day in a big game against your rival. You know, that's what he specializes in. So for him to, you know, travel back with Blake, his son, and to check out some of the colleges that he's already familiar with, the ones that he likes and their structure, the way they do things, and for him to choose, or actually Blake's going to choose, but, you know, Montel was there as well, Southwest Minnesota State, Justice. I think that says a lot, man. You got Montel's a pretty, you know, influential person, but an experienced person in this. I think, you know, that's a good call.
No. I think. I mean, have you seen this? Have you been to the facilities yet, Justin? Have you been able to visit there yet, or are you waiting?
No, I haven't. So I haven't been able to because they're on Christmas break.
Yeah.
You know, so it was. I have to wait till they come back. But I felt like it was a click, like right away with my coach. So
man, I'm gonna tell you right now, the facilities. Their football stadium is off the chain, man. I was in awe. I'll be part, and I don't get in awe very lot. I don't get in awe a lot of places. But I mean, for them to be the stadium, the way they built their stadium is like second to none. It's probably the best stadium that I've seen from a Division II program, or one of the definitely top 5 for sure. They got everything in place to be successful. They're really structured.
I can't wait to take a visit out there. You know, probably in January when all those guys come back.
Yeah, I think you're gonna love it, man. You'll love it, and I know they've already got a pipeline of some San Diego guys that are in town. Rashad from Scripps Ranch, who goes there now. He's there. He's back in town. He's from there. I'd encourage you to reach out to him via Twitter to kind of get the lowdown. But I mean,
I played 7-on-7 with him for a year. So I think it was my sophomore year. So I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. So I think there's a definitely pipeline that's developing, going out there. And I believe that I think you're going to be one of the key cogs, man, to make, you know, even expand the pipeline, as well as, you know, help get them over the hump and compete for a job right off the bat, getting there in the camp. I just think, man, I just think it's a beautiful place, man. I think it's something special. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm more real than anybody. It's a small town.
Cold.
Yeah, it's cold. It's a small little town. You know, Marshall's not the biggest place.
I'm not a big city guy, you know. That's not my type of area. I mean, I wouldn't mind going to a big city area, but I'm happy that I'm going to be in a small town. It sounds cool to me. Yeah, man. It's an hour away, hour and a half away from Sioux Falls. It's 2 hours away from Minneapolis. So it's not like that bad of a place where you can be. It's nestled in a nice little place. I love it because the college is the town. So the college is that's the town, and that's where all the lively stuff goes around, man. So I think you made a wonderful decision, man. I'm glad you wanted to stay. I'm excited to see you play for the next 4 or 5 years. Man, I'll be at the games for sure. I won't be at every last one, but I'm going to be there. Yes, I got you. You got to have some workouts going on, you know.
Keep track of Justice's success and all the kids' success through Montel's Twitter feed. Looking out for all those statistical updates. He'll have to put Justice and Blake in the same tweet. I'm hoping
to have some live feeds. Yeah, I'm hoping to get some live feeds from there, man. But Justice, man, this is your moment, man. I want you to shine. Just like I said, the question I just wanted to ask, like how you came to the decision, you answered it. I think more young people need to listen to that, man, because you were a highly talented recruit, definitely coming out of your junior year. You know, this year, like I said, 2021 sucks. Continues to suck until we get over. 2020, 2021 hopefully be a lot better. But I mean, I think that man, your personality and you as a young man shows a lot of how you've approached the situation as far as recruiting is concerned. And I'm quite sure, you know, your academics are okay. Everything is in place. And I wish you, when I meet you face to face, I'll say the same thing. I wish you nothing but success, my man. And, you know, and happy holidays of the season. Ramon, David, man, I appreciate you guys, bro. I really do. I think this is a great platform for these guys to tell their story.
Keep
and
praying,
let them know.
Keep praying.
And Montel, before you go, I wanted to, and then if you want to take up, I have one more thing for Justice, but I just want to thank you too for what you do for the community and what SDFNL does for the community as far as your having that game every year and getting collected for the food bank. I mean, that you guys put together is just phenomenal. And I think, I mean, it seems like it grows every year, and you guys are just doing a fantastic job. And I'm sure the community appreciates everything that you do, and I know that we do over here at East County Sports.
Man, I appreciate you guys just covering us. You guys been there since day one. Remember when we were a little rinky-dink all-star game that no one knew about? And then we kind of, like, over the years, we've kind of been able to blossom into what we are now. And I think that we have a certain niche in our community. I think we're the only one that's homegrown that plays in. I mean, we have the Spanos Bowl and we have the McCoskey Bowl, both excellent all-star games. I think we just kind of do a little bit of something very uniquely different with ours and who we cater to. And then our Kickoff Classic, obviously, is where we want to give back to the community so much, where we want to have these non-games towards the season. They don't count, but these preseason games towards the season. But we want to be able to help feed our community, help the guys get out there, shake the dust off, get prepared for the season, you know, and really start to build that kind of that unity within San Diego and San Diego football. I'm hoping next year, man, we should be able to kick it off, and we're gonna do it bigger and better and badder than we ever done next year. And then the All-Star game, we have some things kind of coming in. I even let you guys know the first peak. So I think the champion of the San Diego of our Friday Night Lights All-Star game, I think we might partner with Utah. So the winner will play a team in Utah for one more extra game.
Wow.
Looks like we're working on something like that. So we'll play against the Utah All-Stars.
Look, Montel, hopefully we can get something together this year for these kids and play some games. But I agree wholeheartedly. Next year, it's going to be incredible. It's going to be awesome. Like Dick Vitale, right? It's going to be awesome. Incredible season next year. Once we get through all this, everyone's going to be so excited. It's kind of like when they had that first pandemic back in 1919, and then they had the Roaring 20s afterwards. An enormous prosperity for the country, and I think everyone's going to feel that urge in the years to come. And Justin, you're going to be seeing Montel for sure. You're going to be seeing him on the sidelines.
Yeah. Hey, Justice, we'll hook up for some workouts or something like that. My son can come out there and work out with you guys for sure.
I'm down for sure.
You used to that bread basket.
Yeah. Hey, I want you guys, everybody stay safe, man. I wish you guys, family, happy holidays. Everyone stay safe. Stay COVID free, man. And you know, you know, just man, be careful out there. Honestly, I mean, you know, we all know it's not no joke. Protocol needs to be in place, but I wish everybody a wonderful, happy New Year.
You do the same.
So much, Montel. Love you. Great
Thanks,
to see
Montel.
you.
Guys, have a good one.
Happy New Year.
Thank you guys for having me. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Take care.
That was cool.
Justice, before we close it out, actually two things. One I already talked to you about before, and I'll let Ramon in on that before we close out with that. Ramon, I wanted to close out with prayer with Justice, just about everybody that suffered through COVID and the people that are suffering right now. But before that, I just wanted to shed some more positive real quick, because that's what's coming up. Not only is Justice going to be doing his thing, but let's put a spot out for your brother that's going to be coming up and taking over the helms as an Eagle. And I think he deserves a little love too. If you'd like to kind of give us the 411 on what he's doing right now and how he's coming along.
Yeah, so my brother's a freak. 6'1" already. As an 8th grader, he's taller than me. He reminds me every day that he's taller than me. You know, I remind him every day I'm stronger than him still. So I'll still keep the big brother. But 6'1", I think he's like 180 right now. throws the ball hard, runs like a 4.7 something 40 laser time. And it's this dude, he's going to be a freak, and I'm really excited where he's working his butt off just like I am, doing the same thing I'm doing, working with the same coaches, getting in the gym, getting bigger, getting stronger. And I'm so excited for him. I can't wait to come back and hopefully get to watch some of his games in high
I
school.
don't think we've had a younger brother yet appear on our show, Dave, like a second, I don't say generation, because
I was getting,
you know what I mean?
I was heading there. I was heading there. I'm getting there. There's a method to my madness always, which we would like to do sometime. Justice is get something put together like that, especially since he'll be coming up quicker than we can think. And I think that I mean, already being that big and working out like that, I mean, it sounds like he's going to be as big as a Tim Tebow behind center. By the time
he's a little lengthy. He's like 175, 180. He's still a little lengthy. He's still got some room to grow, but he's only in 8th grade, and
that's what I'm getting at. He could fill out like that.
Yeah,
you never know.
100%.
Well, to hear these other kids, Dave, going to be a Mustang as well, I think that's got to make Justice feel good.
100%.
Big time kids going there with him. So I think that's going to be. Montel talked about the little pipeline, and like I said, Montel helps so many schools, and if you follow those schools, you know who they are, because all of our kids kind of end up there. Every year or two, you hear another one go there and have success. I don't know if Montel worked necessarily with Southwest Minnesota State, but like I said, Justice, if it's got his stamp of approval, I think it's probably a pretty good decision. Yeah,
sounds good. Not like I said, and because I made that suggestion, I wanted to have you actually close us out on that, Justice. And first and foremost, thanks for coming on for our third time. Like I said, you do have the record of being our third time guest. And if you could close us out and just a short prayer on everything that's going on, and just kind of give everybody they need some positive and some reassurance, and you and I both know that that's just around the corner.
Yes, I will for sure, if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, all right. You guys would bow your heads and pray with me.
Absolutely.
Dear Lord, thank you so much for what East County Sports do in interviewing everyone and trying to make sure that they get as much people out to get exposure as possible, Lord. I pray for the families that are struggling with COVID, Lord, or ones that have already lost loved ones to it. Lord, I pray that you'd help them. I know it's really hard losing a loved one. It's a pain that you don't know how to explain. But Lord, we know that you are good, and we know that you have a plan for all of us. So Lord, I pray that you just help those people that have lost a loved one, Lord. I pray that you help people struggling with money or jobs or their small businesses, Lord. I pray that you'd help them in what they need, and I pray that you give them some assurance that things are just looking around the corner and that it will get better. Lord, I just pray that you keep your hand on our country. I pray that you just help everyone that is struggling out there. Let them know that you're here and that you're with them, and that you love them so much, Lord. I know you love us so much. Pray that you keep blessing us and keep us positive. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Dave, I think it's poignant way to wrap up the year. Crazy year of shows, man. Who would have thought we'd end up in this situation? But I think what Justice has asked for is something to look forward to. I mean, it is our darkest hour right now, but looking back on it, all of our concerns were correct. All of our things that we've done to try to protect people, most of us, we've done the right thing. This is just an overwhelming tragedy that has affected us. And I think, Justice's outlook, Justice's success, Justice's decision, this decision kind of shows that we can still work through this and get through it. And we will get through this. And, we talked about, the vaccine or whatnot, but again, we're just really protecting a certain segment of society, and we want to go out and do the things that we want to do. And I know I've been hard on you on these shows, Dave, and I'm softening up a bit. We got to get out there. We want to protect everybody. We got to do our best to stay clean, stay hygienic. These type of obvious things, because we can't avoid what's happening, unfortunately, and we can't run into our homes. I'm afraid it's just impossible. I agree with you. In the long run, I agree with you, but I still, am sad about everything that's happened.
I just say, listen to the authorities that have been elected. Even if we agree with them or not, that's what we're instructed to do anyways. Listen to the authorities, and they've been given that position for a reason. And whether it be the CDC, whether it be Dr. Fauci, those are the folks that have been elected to do the job. The scientists that are working hard to put together the vaccines. And then first, the thing that people tend to forget, and then just have faith that, things are going to get better. And, we're in the wilderness right now, and we're going to come out of this thing, and we're going to come out even stronger as a society and as a whole, for sure.
Might be the best. Who knows, Justice? Might all work out as being the best thing. Might end up being a cop that ends up coaching some kids, and your future's set right here.
Thank you.
All right, Dave. Thanks a lot. Hopefully we're going to see Justice out there, Dave. Like I said, I'll just wrap it up with saying what I was reading before we came on about that meeting today about Dr. Fauci telling Newsom to put the kids back in school, basically. So I don't know. The reason why California's end up like it is because of, kind of how conservative it was in the end. I don't want to say the end, but the end of the year. So I don't know, kind of weird. 6 or 7 games, maybe a bowl game instead of playoffs. I think these kids would take that. I know we're losing out on some opportunities, like Montel said, but the slogan is "Let them play." It's not, get everybody scholarships. A lot of these kids just want to play one last time, play some football.
It's the best year. I can speak for sure on that, and for sure from that particular school, I can tell you first and foremost, Justice, that the last senior year at Granite Hills High School should be your best, because I tell you, I had my best year ever graduating. Even decided to pull my my GPA from a 2.5 up to a 3.75. So I decided my senior year, this is the year. And this is the year to keep in touch with friends, play ball if you can, and just enjoy every moment. A lot of people right now probably, how can you do that during that? No, I think you can, and as you and I both know, you can find the good in even in the darkness. You can find some good, and that's why we know we can pull through this one as a group.
And Dave, here it is. One last viewer comment, then we'll get out of here, and you're gonna like this one, Dave. How about that, Justice?
Yes, sir.
Of course.
Love him. Love my dad.
Coach number
always my biggest supporter.
Coach of QB1 right there, the personal coach of QB1. There he is.
Yes, sir.
You did a great job there, Dad. You did a fantastic job with your son, and we love having him, and I'm sure we'll have him a 4th or 5th time probably before he ends up over there. So all right, we appreciate it as always, Justice. Always a pleasure, and thanks again.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, guys.
All right.
All right, Dave. For Justice, for Dave Dickens, I'm Ramon Scott. Thanks for joining us.